It's a first game behind the plate. How are you feeling physically at this point in spring training?
Primer juego hoy. ¿Cómo tú te sientes físicamente?
Me siento bien, gracias a Dios, súper bien, saludable, y eso es lo que se quiere.
I feel good, super good, thank God. And I think at this point, that's what you want.
And also, you did have the successful challenge early in the game. I mean, how do you feel about the ABS system, and how much do you feel like you're going to be using that, utilizing that during the course of the season?
Y también ganaste el primer challenge ahí. ¿Cómo tú crees que tú lo vas a usar esta temporada y con cuánta frecuencia?
Yo creo que no lo voy a usar tanto, los umpires son muy buenos. Y a veces hay que confiar en ellos, a veces también uno no siempre tiene la razón. Pero cuando yo sienta por lo menos ese turno 3-2, estaba peleando el turno y yo sabía que el picheo estaba bola.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I'm going to be using it that much this season. I think the umpires do an incredible job back there, and it's a tough job for them. But I think in an at bat like that, when we were battling in that at bat, it was a 3-2 count. That was one where I thought I could challenge it.
I can ask you. No, I can ask me. How does your swing feel, now that you've got a few weeks under your belt, and I know you've kind of worked through some things in recent years. Like, how do you feel about where you are offensively now that you're getting into games?
Ofensivamente, ¿cómo tú te sientes que tú estás en este punto del entrenamiento y cómo se siente el swing tuyo? Porque ya sabes que tú has sido mucho ajuste en el swing tuyo, y ¿cómo tú te sientes?
Me siento bien. Yo creo que yo creo que mi meta principal es estar saludable. El swing se siente bastante bien, pero nada, lo que quiero es estar saludable y seguir trabajando como he venido haciendo desde el año pasado.
I feel good. I feel really, really good. I think the key for me is to be healthy. I think my swing is in a good spot, but I think the most important thing is to be healthy and just continue doing the things that I did from the end of last season.
Precisamente sobre estar saludable, ¿en qué te enfocaste en el off-season precisamente a evitar o tratar de evitar en todo caso las lesiones?
Nada, trabajar mi físico, como puedes ver, perdí un par de libras, pero eso, ¿sabes? Trabajar mi físico, buscar de tener una rutina más consistente. Eso no quiere decir que antes no era tan consistente, sino hacer las cosas que me ponen ready para el juego y que me hacen sentir bien para jugar.
I worked on my body more this off season. I lost a little bit of weight. I got into a better, more consistent routine. I wouldn't say that I had a bad routine before, but I think I'm now putting myself in a better position to prepare myself for games in terms of my routine.
What did you think of Tobias, catching him and his stuff from what you saw?
¿Qué tú pensaste de Tobias hoy pichando?
Yo creo que una de las cosas principales de él es que tira la bola en la zona, se mantiene bastante en la zona y nos ayuda mucho, ¿sabes? Bien sea del rol que sea, ¿sabes? Porque ¿sabes? Él es muy versátil y eso nos ha ayudado bastante.
I think with him, he's one of those pitchers that is able to command the zone, that he's able to attack the zone, and it doesn't matter which role he's pitching. I think he's one of those guys that can help us out in many different ways just because of the versatility that he possesses.
Did it feel like an important step for you to be able to get back behind the plate today and to get your first game catching?
¿Se sintió como algo importante para poder jugar defensa hoy en tu primer juego?
Para mí todos los juegos son importantes, ¿sabes? Bien sea sprint training, bien sea en grandes ligas, en los playoffs. Yo creo que todos los juegos son bien importantes y ya.
Yeah, I think it was important. It'll be important for me in any way, whether it's a spring training game, a regular season game, a World Series game. I think every game for me to be out there is important.
You said you worked on your body just so you can stay healthier throughout the course of the season. What are some of the things that you can do to kind of help you achieve that goal?
Que tú dices que tú trabajaste más el físico para prepararte en los juegos. ¿Qué es algo que tú puedes seguir haciendo durante la temporada para asegurarte que tú te vas a sentir 100% durante el año?
Yo creo que el core, los hips, son las dos cosas que me he enfocado más y esas son las dos cosas que estoy haciendo todos los días.
I think my core and my hips those are the two things that I focus on the most, and that's what I'm doing every single day to make sure that I'm feeling right every single day.
Looked like it went pretty well out there at first base. Were you happy with the challenges that you got? You know, you talk about getting into games to see plays that you can't maybe replicate in practice, and it seemed like you got at least one or two.
That's exactly right. There's just some things you never see in practice until you get out there and do it in the game. Like, I was talking to Kai and Mindy about some of the plays out there. I felt like I wanted to go get the ball because that's just how I've always been. Like, at third base, go get the ball. Every ball you can go get. Second base, same thing. So, like, some of them I wanted to go get, but then I had, like, to remember, like, Marcus is, like, right behind me. And so I need to get my butt to first base. So it's just, like, learning stuff like that, which was really cool. But, yeah, it was a fun challenge out there. And no mistakes, but didn't look pretty either. So we'll get better over there for sure.
But how encouraging is it that what you just thought, you know, there's got to be an instinctive ability to do that, and you were able to do that your first time out there. Just what you were talking about, knowing that Marcus was behind you and not kind of delaying it too much. Does that give you more confidence going forward that there is that bit of basic fundamental knowledge of how to play that you already have?
For sure. And that's going to give me confidence going into the next game, and I'm going to get better and better with the more reps I get over there. So I'm excited about it.
Carlos said you were going to take some reps pregame in the outfield.
I did yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I did yesterday, and I think tomorrow's another one of my outfield days.
Okay, so. And then maybe next week get out there in a game.
I think that's the plan, yeah.
What's maybe the most, exciting or interesting part about this challenge for you of taking on new positions, and what's the most difficult part?
The most exciting part is probably, like you said, just the challenge of it. I love, like, tackling adversity and stuff like that. So any way that I can get those at-bats on the field, whether it be at first base, third, second, outfield, like, I just want to have those at-bats on the field and help the team win. So that's probably the most exciting part. And then the most difficult part is, like, two positions that I haven't really spent that much time at, trying to master the plays that you can't really replicate in practice, like we were talking about earlier. I think just knowing, like, Pete, I felt like Pete was really good at knowing where the second baseman was, and his job was just to be at first base. So, like, that ball in the hole, like, sometimes he was probably like, I can go get that, but my job is to go be at first base. So just the challenge is just the game reps and trying to get all those game reps. So I'm excited for it.
I know a few years ago you played a little bit of left field, or you had practiced taking some reps there. How comfortable were you with that at the time, and does it feel like you're just kind of picking up right where you left off?
Yeah, I've been telling people I feel like a football receiver out there. No, I think it's fun. I think it's really fun to run around out there and catch fly balls, show off the arm, and stuff like that. So I think you can showcase athleticism out there, and I like it out there. I think it's really fun.
Obviously, you knew pretty early in the offseason that there might be an opportunity at first base. I mean, what type of offseason work did you put in to prepare yourself for this challenge?
Yeah, I mean, we did work at pretty much every single position besides short, catcher, and center. So I was doing, like, couple days at second and third, couple days at first, couple days in the outfield, and just kind of just trying to be the best possible athlete I could be to set myself up here in camp. So
when you do have to be that versatile, basically playing maybe a position that you haven't done very often, how do you kind of compartmentalize that so maybe it doesn't leak too much into your offense or what you have to do now?
Yeah, I think Mark said it best. I don't know if he said it last year or whatever, but he said it's two separate parts of the game, and he tries to really separate them. Like, if he makes a mistake on defense or if he strikes out on offense, he's flushing that, and he's got some other way to contribute to a team win that night on the other side of the ball too. So I really respected him when he said that, and I've been trying to implement that as well.
How many types of gloves do you have in your locker?
A lot. Yeah.
I could be totally off, but it looks like you've been pretty comfortable offensively early on, like taking some pretty aggressive swings in live BPs and out there and stuff. Like, how do you feel about where you are offensively coming into this camp, especially given all the focus you've had to put on defensively?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that because I did not feel good in live at-bats. But
probably wrong.
I did feel good today at the plate. I felt really good. I felt like I was on the attack, and I swung at the right pitches, great swing decisions. And I think it's just getting more and more game action. But today I felt really good. But thank you for saying I look good in live ABs too.
Not a scout.
Other players who have had this super utility role where they're playing 4 or 5 different positions have said the hardest thing, not only in spring training but during the season, is trying to find the right balance of how many reps you take at each position, because you don't want to wear yourself out in advance. Are you starting to try? I know right now first and the outfield might be the ones you're focusing on since they're new.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you get that work in while also trying to make sure you stay sharp at stay fresh and stay sharp at second and third in case you're needed there, because you don't know, you come in every day not knowing where you're going to be necessarily.
Yeah. To that point, I think we have a really good plan in place to be able to work at all the different positions. But I also feel like I'm a worker, and so like I want to be doing stuff all the time. So I feel like that part of it's going to come not easy to me, but I'm going to like that aspect of it because I always like being out on the field, like sweating and doing all this, running around. So I'm going to like that actually.
Felt good. It definitely felt good. Body felt like it was under control. Like I'm not trying to do too much out there. So I feel like when I'm in that mindset and kind of letting everything kind of take care of itself, I keep myself in a better spot than trying to go out there and do a little too much. So that's my key takeaway from today was felt under control and body felt great.
I know they've said that you're going to stretch out as a starter with the possibility of being a long man in the bullpen. Just what kind of pitch count or what kind of innings count do you anticipate working up to this spring?
Mindy and David kind of relayed that I would build up to 60, 65, and then by then we would kind of reevaluate and kind of see where we're at.
What do you think of that role? I know that's a role that you've played in the past. Is that something you're comfortable with?
Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable on the mound, so I feel like if you're starting a game, if you're relieving, if you're closing, you still got to get 3 outs or whatever the case may be. So for me, I just try to keep it that mentality and, keep everything simple.
Has there been anything you're working on or fine-tuning in this spring training?
Yeah, the splitter is fairly new. Last year I started throwing it middle of the season. So trying to fine tune that pitch and make sure that it's in a good spot when camp breaks. And same pitch, same grip, slider, I'm just spiking it a little bit. So not much different there. We're just kind of look for a little bit more depth to get some more swing and miss. So that's coming along pretty well. It's been only 2 weeks throwing it, so it's been pretty decent.
How does that splitter kind of influence or help the rest of your repertoire?
I think it's a changeup, a splitter, whatever, anything that looks the most like my fastball that's going to kind of fade off of it is going to probably be the best pitch for me. That's kind of been the case since I was a little kid. The split, though, definitely for me is a lot better execution pitch for me than the circle change and how it has been in the past. So that's kind of where the split came from. And then it just happened the metrics are slightly better than the changeup used to be. So for me, though, it's all execution with the changeup, with the split, whatever it's going to be.
I know you had really smart people with their eyes on you in Milwaukee, but how has changing organizations affected just kind of what you're doing? Has it led to more tinkering, or just kind of what changes that led to?
For me, I like to pride myself on a coachable pitcher, so I like to put my trust in my coaches. Something I did over there for sure, being a younger guy and kind of getting thrown into like a start into the rotation over there. Here, very similar. I know everybody over here is very, very smart. I know J-Dub, Danny, Jags, like these guys have a great track record, and it's pretty easy to tell when you talk to them and talk to other guys that communicate with those guys. So, yeah, for me, it's like put my trust in those guys and let them guide me.
How did Brett Baty look at first base to you from your perspective, given that he's still learning the position? He had a couple plays over there.
Look great to me. I love running over there, grabbing the ball from him. Yeah, perfect with me.
How much does that impact you as a pitcher, having confidence in the guys behind you to make you more comfortable as a
I know. I mean, I know those guys are out there. They're doing everything they can to make every single play, no matter who it is, no matter if it's a guy in his main position or if it's a guy trying a new position. And I know all these guys are very athletic, and I mean, they have a really good track record of being athletic, being able. I know Brett's switched positions in the past, made it look pretty easy. So I think he looked great over there personally. I know those guys are going to give it all they got, regardless whether they're feeling good or not, or if they're feeling comfortable in that position or not. They're going to go out there and give it everything they have. So for me, I don't really think too much about that side. I just kind of try to keep everything out in front of me.
I would assume that joining a new organization, one of the biggest goals in spring is to sort of get some work in with your catchers and try to learn each other. What was it like throwing to Francisco for the first time today?
It was great. I got to throw to Francisco 2 weeks before camp started. He was down in South Florida. I was living down there in the off season. So me, him, Freddie, a couple guys met up and were able to get some work in before camp started. And I think this is the first time throwing to him since then. So it was really, really cool to, especially like this morning, like being able to communicate all morning, like what we want to do. And Albie's full of energy. He's fun back there. So, I mean, he's obviously really good at framing pitches because we had like 5 or 6 overturned back there. So he's making them all look like strikes. So.
First time in game competition this spring. How did you feel physically?
Well, it got hot, but it was good. It was good. Get out there and compete and kind of get on the track of where I want to be.
Did seeing opposing hitters tell you anything that you hadn't known about kind of where you are right now?
No, not really. I think I was more focused on what I needed to do today and just get my pitches over the plate. A little frustrated about the 2 walks today, but other than that, I felt pretty good.
Mindy said in the live BPs you were kind of like 88, 89 today. There was some 92s, 93s, a little amped up to see another uniform and actually try to get people out.
I think that just is, like you said, just the competition is a little more excited, a little less worried about hitting guys, and I'm pretty happy about today.
You working on a cutter, it looks like?
Yeah, I threw one today. It's a pitch I'm kind of trying to mix in. I'm trying to get guys off my fastball and open up some more off-speed opportunities. And, it's coming along. How much I'm going to use it, I think how well I can command it and control it is going to have a lot to do with that.
Did you add that this winter, or had you been working on it previously, or thinking about it previously?
I think I've been thinking about it, but I've really only been working on it the last couple of weeks.
Carlos, what did you think about what you saw from Brett at first base?
Fine. Feel like he's getting comfortable with the positioning, especially against right-handed hitter. We saw today how far off the base he was playing. That's something that we are trying to get these guys to play off the line and still be comfortable getting back to the base. The ground ball, the second base, I think we saw his first reaction is going towards the baseball. He's so used to, and that's the biggest thing with these guys, learning that position, that there's going to be times where that ball's going to hit to their right and they got to go to their left and get to the base. So, I thought overall it was a good day. It was just good to see him out there in game action.
Is that the best example of something you can only learn in game action?
Yeah, one of there's a lot of them, like there's in between plays, there's positioning, there's holding runners, there's cut position, that they got to get to, just having the awareness where the second baseman's playing. So there's so much that goes into it that only game reps will tell you, and it's just good to have him out there.
I know you're going to try to get him some work in the outfield as well. I assume he may still get second and third games just to keep him sharp there. Is there enough? You going to be able to see him enough this spring to feel comfortable to starting there?
Yeah, because we could always put him on B games, on backfield, minor league games. He's very athletic. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to be able to do it there. He was able to play second base for us last year, and that wasn't an easy transition. I think early on, what we'll do, we'll keep it on the right side of the field, whether it's first base, right field, maybe second base. Before we put him at third base, we know he's a plus defender there. So, yeah.
You mentioned playing far off the line. Is that by design that you guys are doing something, or is that what's behind that?
Yeah, no, look, when you look around the league, teams are now very aggressive, depending on the personnel that you have, right? And being comfortable playing off but being able to get back on time to receive throws. So that's something that we're kind of doing here with these guys, probably because of Baty and Polanco, maybe not so much with Mark. But again, it's depending on the personnel here.
Because they have range, the two of those.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. You know, you play those guys too far off the line, then now you put they're going to be late receiving throws, you know, so.
And just watching the three guys, you know, you're 3.5 weeks from opening day. Do you feel comfortable with having those three guys in whatever combination it is as your first baseman, or do you need to see some growth there before you feel good about it?
No, we feel comfortable. I feel very comfortable with any of the three playing first base. You know, yeah, I would like for them to continue to get as many reps as possible. But as far as like being comfortable, super.
Just back in terms of Baty, when you do have kind of a younger player in a super utility role, I mean, what type of communication has to go into it to put him in the best position to succeed?
A lot. Is not only a lot for him, but we have to make sure that we are communicating with him on a daily basis, whether he's going to, if we're thinking about potentially playing him in right, making sure he gets the rep there, you know, a couple of days in advance. The throwing is different. If we're thinking about playing him at third, whether it's second base, like there's a lot of communication here. And I feel like we've done a really good job doing that with him, and he will continue to be that way. It's not easy, but he's embracing the opportunity, and I think we're throwing first base and right field. But last year we saw how, you know, you guys saw how we used him third, second, and he's up for the challenge.
Just what did you think of Tobias Myers?
It was good. He was attacked his own. I like the fact that he threw some cutters there, which is a pitch that he's kind of working right now. So got his work in, but again, the way he used all of his pitches through strikes, got his work in.
In baseball, we haven't seen long relievers as much as we have in the past. I mean, what's the value of that role, especially with what the team went through last year with some of the short?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. You know, it wasn't easy for us when we had so many. Yeah, it was pretty much, we had 7 closers last year. And it was hard, especially when you weren't getting a length out of your starting pitching. So having guys like that is always important. But not only he's going to be a guy, depending on where we are, I mean, we got long ways to go, but this is a guy that can pitch on high leverage innings as well. You know, he's been in situations like that, so he's very versatile there.
Did seeing Kimbrel against opposing hitters tell you anything more about where he is, or is it too early to even kind of read into that?
Yeah, I mean, it's way too early. But we saw some 92, 93 live on the fastball, you know, the shape on the breaking balls. It was a good sign today. You know, backfield, live VP, usually the velo is somewhere around 88, 90. Today, you know, obviously facing other team, we saw some 92, 93, and again, the breaking ball was there, so.
Going back to Baty a little bit, how do you balance his workload when you're adding so much to his plate?
Yeah, it's part of the communication. You know, like if he's playing right field, making sure he stick to that position. You know, we don't want to overwork. You know, in making sure that, you know, he's just working on that particular spot. If he's not playing, well, thinking ahead. All right, tomorrow he's playing second base. All right, let's give him work. So making sure we're not doing too much because it could take a toll on him.
Does he need maybe a little bit less work, at least this spring, when it comes to third base and second base, just given that he has a high aptitude for those positions already?
I'll say he's familiar with those two. We'll get him maybe some backfield reps, and if we feel like we need to give him a game or two, but I think the priority here is going to be first base and right field for him in spring training.